and welcome everyone once again. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode 2 of our exclusive live masterclass series. We did things a little differently this time with the PMP masterclasses so as to bring you more value in a series of episodes. And today happens to be the second one. I'm Christabel Singh, and I'm your host for this masterclass. I'm thrilled to see so many of you dedicated professionals coming in, committed to advancing your project management careers. Um, this series is brought to you by upGrad KnowledgeHut, as you all very well know. And this is designed to take you from the very basics of the PMP certification all the way to a complete actionable exam strategy for 2025. We've built it in a series of 3 episodes, like we were saying. And so this is tailored for you, whether you're just starting out or you're looking to sharpen your approach. Maybe you've been at it for a while and you're looking to really, really hone in your approach so as to crack this. Right, a quick recap of what the series is all about. We have said this is how you get to start off your PMP journey with confidence. In episode 1, we kicked off the essentials of PMP, the eligibility, the application process, how to plan your prep while balancing your full-time job. And we also explored some of the real-world impact of PMP certifications on your career. Today, our expert Soniya Singh is going to help us dive deep into the foundations of project management. She will focus on both agile and predictive methodologies, helping you understand both and how these are viewed in the PMP exam. Next week, we will also take you through how a personalized and structured PMP exam study plan can really be a game changer for you. So that's the highlight of the next one coming up next Saturday, same time. All right. So all of you, if even if you missed the first episode, don't worry because you will hear from us with the recording and the resources. And without further ado, let us turn our attention to today's topic. I will hand it over to Sonia in just a bit. Before I do that, let me quickly bring you Sonia Singh. She, with over almost nearly 2 decades of experience in project management, risk management, expertise in managing the entire project lifecycle. Team, can we have the relevant slide up so people can also take a look at that? She has deep expertise in risk, cost, and schedule management. And she's been a trainer and trained several professionals across the board for PMP, for ACP, for CAPM, and Lean Six Sigma certifications. So, with that, let me hand it over to Sonia.
Thank
Sonia,
you.
just a minute. Few housekeeping, uh, points that I want to share with our audience. You will of course get a certificate of completion as well as your PDU certificate, and so you'll receive that in your email in a short while. You'll receive the recording of this masterclass as well. So you can stay here 100%, just take notes. This is going to be a highly interactive session, so please keep asking your questions, preferably in the Q&A box or in the chat is also fine. Our team is monitoring that and we will assist Sonia with that. Sonia, completely up to you. The ones that you feel you want to take during the flow of your session, you're most welcome to. And we'll also have a time towards the end. Another quick thing is that we have something very special for you later on, and I will be getting our learning advisor expert really in this also on towards the end after Sonia is done. So keep all your questions handy, and with that, over to you, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. So I think Chrisbel has already talked a lot that what my expertise are. But yeah, I would quickly introduce myself first of all before we jump on to the agile and predictive models of project management. So yeah, so I have around 16 years of work experience, and uh, mostly in the risk sectors. I've been part of banking, travel industry, insurance, and telecommunication. These would be my areas where I have worked on. My most expertise would lie around project management. So it's been almost like it's been 16 years I'm doing the project management and playing roles, several roles, I would say, regarding the risk management, quality management. And if I talk about my expertise, I would deal with projects uh, end to end, I can say that. And I would be expertise and around agile, hybrid, and the predictive way of management of the project, which we will be talking about in this section. And apart from that, I have almost trained almost 10,000 plus students all across the globe on several platforms. So basically, I train people on PMP, ACP, CAPM, Lean Six Sigma, Green, and Black Belt. These are my areas where I do train people. And I would make sure that you guys, once we complete this session, you take something from here which will be helping you in your future. As Christabel has correctly mentioned, that towards the end of the session we have few more good things that we will be sharing with you. While going through the session also, I'll be sharing couple of things which you can utilize in your upcoming future. Guys, talking about project management, it's one of the areas which is booming, which is growing. Trust me on this, guys. This is one of the industry which would be there whatsoever happen. I know there would be certain times when we face a recession, when we face some other things in our world, in our culture, in our work atmosphere. However, when I talk about project management, this is one of the industry, I can say, which will grow on and on. And if you want, you can explore an amazing career here. I would like to quote this, that we could have two types of project managers. One are project managers, the other one could be technical project managers. Just to highlight that, guys, a project manager makes, let's say, X amount of money, because I know that why we are doing all these things. We want to enhance our career, we want to enhance our future by doing these certification, by studying these material or the course that we are pursuing. So what we are trying to do here is we are going to pursue a career for future. So talking about the money which a project manager makes, it's enormous. And when it comes to technical project manager, the horizon is much more bigger. So I can say that when we complete this particular certification or the course, when you will be a certified project manager, you have n number of options open for you. You could work as a project manager in your career if you are really interested in. You can take maybe as a trainer this particular career. You would have, I mean, I can say 10, more than 10 particular 10 type of things which you can do once you will be expert on this particular subject. But the main thing is that we have to understand the concept of the project management, why it's there, how we deal with these project management terminologies and the things that we have on our work. So the first step for that is to have a certification. You have to be a certified project manager so that you can move your career ahead. Uh, People, can I have this slide, please? Okay, while we are getting the slide, I just wanted to ensure, guys, that see, uh, as a trainer, I'll be very, very honest with you guys. Doing project management is definitely an amazing thing to do. However, we have to work seriously towards it. Once it comes to the certification, it's not going to be a cakewalk. I do not want to set any incorrect expectations, but once you are a certified project manager, I can vouch for it that you'll have your career progression like anything. You'll get n number of things which you can do in your career, right? Okay. Crispel, is it okay if I can share my screen and get the presentation up?
That would be perfect,
Yeah, it's
Sonia. Yeah.
fine. Okay, guys, so while we are getting the presentation up, I was saying that this particular certification would definitely going to add a lot of edge to your career and future. And yeah, for this one, we have course which is with us. So this basically outlines how you enroll yourself, and we'll talk about this, that what all things which we can do while having this particular certification. So I'll start with the slide first. The slide which you can see in front of you, guys, this is how PMP or management has been outlined the course content. So it has been divided into three different domains, which is people, process, and business environment. This is how the exam has been uh, divided these things into. So if I talk about people, I'll talk more about it so that you'll understand that why I'm saying that this is people is 42%, process is 50. So if I talk about people domain, we are going to ask questions around the questions weightage would be around 42%. When I talk about process, it would be 50%. And the last one, business, is 8%. Principal, I can't see the slide. Sure.
Sonia, sorry, just a sec.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get that up in just a bit. You can
Okay,
continue.
no problem. Okay, so guys, okay, so these three would be the domains which PMP asks questions from us, and it has all three domains have specific concepts. Now, certified project managers from PMI, it has its own weightage because PMI has its mindset. Most of the people who are already working, and I'm sure we have 99% people who are working on somewhere or the other and have good experience. So you know what happens, the problem with the PMP exam is PMI has its own mindset, and we specifically tell the students that when you go or to take this PMP examination, you have to follow the PMI concept of project management. There are certain things which you are already doing in your professional journey that might not be utilized here because PMI has its own mindset. So a person who wants to clear the particular examination, that's why we focus more on the PMI concept. Now, this particular thing which you can see in front of you, guys, the same thing I talked about the domains a few seconds earlier. See, the process has 50% of the weightage, means the questions would be framed on the process, that would be around 50%. From business, we'll get 8% of the questions, and from people domain, we'll have 42% of the question. Now, moving on from this particular triangle, these are the questions, these are the topics which wherein you'll get questions for your PMP exam. Uh, if I talk about process, how the process is, what are the ways of the working on PMI mindset, talking about business, what kind of things would be there. And when I talk about the business environment, how as a person, how as a project manager, you should be working on a project, or what all things you have to keep in your mind while progressing with these things. Now, there are three things which you can see here: domains, task, and enablers. Now, domains we have already seen. There would be three domains. Now, these particular domains would be further divided into task and enablers. There would be a link which we will give to you. You may explore that. There would be all the domains task are listed there. That's the syllabus of PMP, which is there, which we will be sharing with you on in the chat in some time. You can yourself go through that and explore that what all things would be there. So let's say for an example, under domain, let's say I have stakeholder conflict, or let's say conflict is there. Now, to resolve that conflict is domain here. Now, to resolve that conflict, I may have several tasks to do. I may go ahead and speak to the people. I may go ahead and do several activities to mitigate that particular conflict in the team. And enablers would be the way how you're going to treat that work, right? So domains would be further divided into task, and task would be further divided into enablers, which we will be able to explore. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. Now, talking about project management, what exactly is project, guys? Before we dive into the project management, what exactly is project? If somebody asks, I can wait for your answers in the chat box. Uh, think about it. What could be a project, and why do we run a project? What is the requirement of have a project? For example, I am using a phone already. Why do I need to do some project on that phone? I'll give you guys few seconds to think about it, and then I can start off. You may put down your responses in the chat box. Because industry, okay, Tilak says because of the industry. Okay, any other thoughts? New features, enhancement, yeah. Also for CEO, Tilak. Okay. New technologies, yeah, of course. Okay, great responses, guys. Thank you so much. Absolutely right, guys. Because of industry changing, because of new technology, money, absolutely. Saurav, thank you. Features, enhancement, improving the structure or maybe the process. Guys, we always run a project to generate revenue, to enhance the process, because otherwise there is no need of a project. Now, what is the criteria of a let's say of a product to be a project? New innovation, thank you. Guys, anything to consider to be a project, we have to meet certain criteria. Now, this could be temporary. A project is always should be temporary. It must have a start date and an end date. It should start on a certain date and end on a certain date. It's not like operations that it will be ongoing forever. So that is the first criteria. The second criteria should be unique. It should be different. No one project would be similar to the previous one, right? So it has to be unique. Third thing, end of the project, it should deliver some kind of service, result, or the product. So these are the three things which we have to consider a system or a product or a service to be treated as a project. Now, I'll see here, it's a definition that came from PMI. As we always emphasize what PMI asks for, what are the PMI concept, what is the PMI mindset, and we go through the same mindset. And if you want to get that mindset, you may go through the training. You can understand the mindset, because on your exam, most of the time, or I mean almost PMI ask the questions based on the PMI mindset. So the mindset is very important. Now, if I see here what PMI says about project, so according to Project Management Institute, that is PMI, it is a temporary endeavor completed to create a unique service, product, or result. That is the definition of project. Now, talking about project management, guys, basically project management is the application of the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques which we use to satisfy the customer's requirements. So now I think the concept of project is clear. Now, project management is managing the project. with the right knowledge, with the right skills and the tools which we have in the industry. Or the project manager consists of all these features. So a project manager is not exactly going to work on the project. For example, if I'm talking about let's say a construction industry, as a project manager, you are not going to work on the project or working on the bricks or everything there. But what we are going to actually do, we are actually going to use our skills to make sure that the project runs successfully. It starts on time, it finishes on time. Everything related to the project should be taken care of. So we work as facilitator, we work as servant leader. Now this word servant leader, what exactly it is? Has anyone heard about this word? Can we have the answers in the chat box, please? What is servant leadership? We can change the slide also. Thank you. Guys, while I'm getting the answers for servant leader, I'm just quickly taking you through supporting team members as a leader. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, so servant leader, okay, this has been copy pasted from somewhere. Tilak. Okay, guys, see, a servant leader is a person who is there in charge, who ensures that the team members are getting everything what they require to run a successful project. That's the project manager's duty. He ensures that you get everything as a team member to perform your duties. Now, this particular slide talks about the phases that we have on the projects. Guys, these are the 5 phases that each and every project goes through. So step 1, we have the project initiation, wherein we initiate the project. Basically, we create the project charter, we get the approval from the management, and then officially we announce that we are going to run the project. The second thing could be the project planning, wherein we plan for the project. We plan each and everything which is related to project. The third stage is the stage in action. It means that whatever we have planned in stage 2, we are going to start working on that on the stage number 3. Talking about stage number 4, we will be doing project monitoring and controlling. It means whatever the work that we have performed on stage number 3, we have to ensure that those activities, those phases are well or going in the right direction. So we have to monitor and control that. Risk would be also one of the things which we do, or risk management, I would say, throughout the project. It's not like as one-time activity that we will do it in stage 1 or 2. Risk management is something which we will be doing throughout the project. It means that we will look out for risk, any kind of risk. It could be potential risk or a real risk or any kind of risk. If you find any risk which you can see that might incur in a negative situation for the project, we capture that risk and we put a control towards that risk. So risk is something that we take care of throughout the stages. Now, last one is about the project closure. We ensure that whatever we agreed on with our stakeholders or the customer, we will deliver them the same. End of the project, we close the project in a controlled environment, means whatever agreement that we did, we close the project in the same agreement and we deliver the product or the service to the stakeholder. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. Now, guys, there are 3 ways to manage a project. In this particular section, we will be talking about 2, predictive and agile. And I'll just quickly highlight certain things about hybrid. So there are 3 ways you can manage a project. First is your predictive, then your agile, and then third one is hybrid. Now, talking about predictive, guys, this was the first method that was introduced to manage projects. Now, as you can see this particular picture in front of you, it has several names given to it. So when you hear predictive methodology, when you hear waterfall, when you hear plan based or sequential, it's all talking about the same thing. And in your PMP exam, they do interchange these terminologies. Sometimes they use it as predictive, sometimes they call it waterfall. So you have to understand that they are talking about the same thing. Now, the flow that you can see here, that planning, designing, implementation, testing, and maintenance, this is how waterfall or predictive works. Now, what exactly is predictive? If somebody asks you that what exactly predictive method of managing a project? So, guys, it's a step-by-step process to manage a project. These phases I talked about from initiation to closing. So everything happens here in sequence. So from 1 to 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So I'll start with initiation of the project and then I'll close the project. It will go in sequence. I cannot go back from third or fourth stage to the first one, right? So it has to be in a sequence. That is why it is also known as sequential. Now, predictive method has a drawback, if I have to tell you, that it doesn't welcome lot of changes. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have started with a project and I did the initiation of the project, I did the planning of the project, and I have started the execution of the project. And then I'll obviously doing the monitoring and controlling of the project, and then I hand it over to the project before closing step to the stakeholder. Now, if the stakeholder is asking for some changes, it would be very costly because if either I have to start everything from scratch because I haven't asked for the feedback during the phases. I ask for the feedback at the last stage of the feedback of the phase. Now, I have a question here. Let's say, guys, I'll take the example of construction industry again because normally predictive method utilizes on construction industry and they really works well because there we do upfront planning. So let's say I have a project of constructing a 20-story building, right? Hear me out, guys. It's a question for everyone to see your understanding. I have a project wherein I have to create a 20-story building. Now, I have started with the project. I have done the planning and I am maybe in the second or third stage of the execution of the project. All of a sudden, the stakeholder asked to add 10 more stories to that building. Will that be possible for me to add those 10 extra stories? Willing says no. Yes, you can back up your answers also with the reason. Pradeep also says no. Yeah, it's not possible, right? Why not? We need to recalculate and replan. Okay. Any other thoughts? Because we have already done the planning. Okay. It was not included in the initial plan. Resource will be impacted. You guys have an amazing mindset. Amazing. Designing must based on industry. Yeah, correct. All the answers are almost right, guys. Budget will be impacted. Yeah, of course. Approval. There's one more thing. If I have to add extra 10, what about the foundation that I dig that only can take weight of 20-story buildings, right? If I add 10 extra, probably the whole structure will collapse. So people are very correct that either we have to start everything from scratch, it would incur a lot of money, resource will be impacted, and obviously budget will be impacted. So great. Thank you so much for the answers, guys. So, right, this is how predictive project management or method works. So initially, when we started probably doing on the project, this is the first method that we have utilized to do the projects. Now, with time, we explored more around the project management methods, and with we came up with something called, what is the second one? What's the second approach or second method of doing the project management? Thank you. Agile, adaptive, yes, hybrid and agile. You guys are amazing. I think you already know a lot of things. Okay, can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. All right. So after the predictive way of managing project management, we have something called agile. Now, if I compare agile and predictive, let's first of all let me tell you the background of agile. Guys, when we used to use predictive, it has a lot of shortcomings, or I would say a lot of things which it was not able to cover. Right? The example which I have just quoted. Now, what agile does? Guys, agile means, anybody knows what is the meaning of agile? Flexibility. Yes, absolutely. Iteration. No, it's agile means flexibility. It does work in iterations. That is correct, Kumar. Continuous improvement. Yes, thank you. Okay, guys, agile itself means flexibility because it is flexible in approach. So, what exactly agile does? Basically, agile works in iterations, in small packets. If I have to make you understand, if I have a big project, I'll divide that big project into small phases or small chunks. I'll work on the small chunk of the project. I complete that small part of the project. I take feedback from the stakeholder, and then I'll rework on the feedback if required. If not, I'll move on with the project. So basically, agile is an approach that divides work into phases, and it helps us in continuous improvement of the project, right? We do planning in small iterations. We complete that iteration, we hand it over the service or the product to the customer or the stakeholder. If we find any feedback, we work on it. Now, this is much more, uh, I would say, better than predictive, and this is cost effective also. If you think logically, guys, if we are not actually creating the whole bunch of the project and giving it to the stakeholder and then we are looking for the feedback, no. Here we are doing it in small increments or iterations, and we are taking continuous feedback from the customer. So end of the day, customer would definitely be happy. You tell me, as a customer, if I ask you that I'm going to if you ask me to create a car for yourself, for example, and I will ask you that what kind of car are you looking for? Tell me the color, the features of the car. Let's say you want five-seater car, seven-seater car, or what exactly the color you want. Do you want this kind of window or that kind of window? What the boot space you are looking for? So as a customer, obviously will feel happy that I'm getting something which is customized, right? People do like customized things. So that's agile. Another example could be Domino's or the Pizza Hut. What do? They prepare pizza as per your choice. That's what Agile does. They do take our feedback and they create the product or the services for us. And obviously they welcome change. Well, they are like, they love to take changes. They are welcoming changes. So they know that agile means flexibility, agile means changes. People have that mindset who are working on agile projects, that we are going to get changes on the project and we have to enact for those changes, right? So if I talk about predictive, it's a little rigid. If I talk about agile, it's very flexible in nature, right? So these are two big or basic differences between these two. Now, can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. Now, let's talk about certain benefits of agile. So, first one is prioritize the value. Basically, guys, it focus on the value what customer is looking for. Whatever customer, so basically what happens, they gather the requirements from the customer or the stakeholder and they create the most relevant or the most valued thing, the first. Second thing is welcome changes. They love to have changes on the project as per your feedback. Seek continuous feedback. We promptly ask for the feedback from the stakeholders so that we design or we create something which they actually looking for. Last one, foster a positive mindset, means cultivate a positive and collaborative attitude for successful agile implementation. Who would not like such an atmosphere where people are asking for feedback and they are changing things according to you? Within the team, also, guys, we have that mindset. When you work on agile projects, you have that mindset. We are very flexible to the changes. So overall, agile has lot of benefit if we look into it, right? Can we have the next slide, please? Now, guys, there are certain differences between agile and waterfall. I have almost talked on almost all of them. However, let's just quickly go through them one by one again. So requirements, if I talk about waterfall, it's very clear. It's clearly defined. On agile, it changes, right? It can change or it does changes as per the feedback that we receive from the customers. Now, talking about client involvement, we complete the whole project and we deliver the project to the customer towards the end of the project. But agile do involve the customer or the client throughout the project to get their feedback. Type, it's straightforward. Agile is it can be complex project because it has a lot of changes in it, right? Okay, guys, I'm almost done with agile and predictive, right? I think we have just left with one or two slides, if I'm not wrong. I was almost towards the end. Guys, I'll will be waiting for your questions on the chat box. Yeah. Can we have slide number 14? Let's quickly just complete the slide. Yeah. So talking about the budget, uh, on waterfall, we have strict budget. Agile, it could have big or unlimited depending on the type of project or the type of changes that we are doing. And talking about team collaboration, waterfall has moderate, agile is intensive because almost every second day we are having some changes or some feedback. So the collaboration within the team would be much higher as compared to waterfall. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. Guys, this triangle, this inverted triangle is very, very important to understand. The first one that you see is for waterfall. The second one is for agile. Now, I'll give you the concept of this, uh, that why we have this. Now, if I talk about waterfall, we have the features are fixed, but time and cost are variable. However, if I talk about Agile, we have cost and time fixed, but features could be changing as per the customer's feedback. So, Waterfall has the biggest drawback because they do not incorporate lot of changes. So, in order to intact the feature, sometimes they go over budget or over time, over the schedule. However, Agile makes sure that they are bound with the schedule and the budget. Features, they give you the best. As I mentioned earlier, that they gather the requirement from the stakeholder or the customer and they give out the most required features the first, right? So these are the two things related to agile concept, and this is one of the important concept that we have on agile, because here in waterfall the features would be fixed. In agile the cost and time would be fixed. Variable part in waterfall is time and cost, and feature would be variable on agile. Can we have the last slide, please? I just wanted to give you some information. This is how we have ended agile and predictive. However, if there are certain people that think that when you go for your PMP exam, you might um, have to know the tools, which is could be Jira, Microsoft Project Planner, a lot of other tools are there. However, just to clarify this doubt, guys, for your PMP or for your interviews, I would say it's, yeah, you should know this. However, if I talk about your PMP certification, we do not ask questions from tools, right? So it's very clearly mentioned that the PMP exam tests your understanding of project management principles and practices, not detailed software proficiency in Jira or MS Project. People who are not very technically sound can absolutely go ahead and enroll for the courses. Because sometimes we have that myth that I'm not a technical person. Should I do this course or should I not? Absolutely yes. We have two different worlds in project management also. We have technical project managers, we have project managers. So, absolutely, the answer is yes. If you're thinking that you're not technically sound, should we go for it? Should we not? You can absolutely go for it. Jira and MS projects are, guys, two of the tools which we have to uh, work on projects. It makes our work easier on the projects. However, for your PMP exam, we do not need them, right? Guys, yeah, I have certain questions here. Uh, Okay, okay, Tilak is asking for the certification. Guys, yeah, as we already mentioned that yes, we will provide you certificate, PDUs free certificates also, and I think we have something exciting also towards the end of the session. So I'll be handing this over to Crispel now. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience, and I'm happy to take questions also in the meanwhile if you guys have any. However, I have cleared, I think, that whatever I had in the chat box, but yeah, I'll happy to take if there is anything else.
Thank you so much, Sonia. That
No
was
problem.
really enlightening and a great, guidance for everyone aspiring to get on this journey of getting PMP certified. Let me also bring on board Mr. Devina Sai, my colleague here, and he's the academic expert for available to everybody who's here for any kind of questions they may have. Before we go into that, let's take a quick look, Sonia, at any other questions that may have come.
I don't have any.
I think we're good. We have a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
queries about the course itself,
yeah.
which is really the next exciting segment. But to everybody who is here with us, thank you so much for joining us on this episode two, which Sonia has very, very thoroughly covered for us. I think everybody who has been on this journey, especially through the first part of the series, now the second, is getting clearer and clearer with how they can navigate this particular journey of getting PMP certified. Now, before we move on, just a quick reminder that we have episode 3 that is on the coming Friday, and that is the 16th of May, and it'll happen exactly at this time. So wherever you are, please block your calendars, and you'll also receive the link again from us on email. And now let's dive into the juicy part, which many of you are really asking about. Let's dive in and set you up for PMP exam success. So, Sai, I will now hand the floor to you. If you can take our learners through what we have in store for them. And this is going to be a very special offering and a limited time one at that.
Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. I'll be just taking you forward with all the necessary information that's required to understand the offerings of the entire PMP product, and then how we can carry forward in the further process as well. Can I have the further slide, please? All right. Just to guide you all with the versions of PMP that we at KnowledgeHut upGrad has, there are a couple of products that we bring onto the table. One is Standard and Pro. This offering is all about complete PMP as a product, which covers A to Z of it. And if you precisely look at the offerings ones on the screen, which is visible, we have 36 contact hours that will be covered in the course, wherein a professional development units that we have also told you that you'll be getting in this webinar as well will be offered with the course. And alongside with the PDUs that you get, you have a study plan which is curated by our experts, and then simulations and mocks which will be covered. Please have a diversified focus on the pro variant ones, because that is where we recommend 100% of our learners to look at, because PMP is a closed book examination, and that requires a well-versed practice and expertise before we go on to the examination. And our pro offering is packed in such a way that you will have simulations and mocks which will give you the complete expertise to clear PMP in the very first go. So just take out a minute and just go through the offerings of pro variant that is visible on the screen. Yeah, just the pro variant one. Yes. The unique value proposition that we bring onto the table is with the 180 free pass that you're seeing on the screen for live training sessions. Just in case, let's say if anybody wants a refresher, and that will clear your further doubts, or you would want to attend multiple sessions with us and have complete exposure over PMP certification. This 180 grand pass is your go-to. This tool is designed specifically for somebody to brush up their skills, not just once, but multiple times. And alongside with that, the mocks and simulations is a clear winner for somebody who is aspiring to be a project manager in their very first attempt. All right. So I'll be just walking through you like what other offerings that we bring onto the table to make sure to all the aspiring project managers to have that examination cleared in their very first attempt. Can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, this is the pathway that we follow that initially starts with the learning path. Anybody who's aspiring to be a project manager and wanted to have a guided pathway to clear this, and that starts with the fundamental, that is learning. You will have the learning with us for good 4 to 8 weeks based on the schedule that you would choose, and you would completely learn and get the 35 contact hours, and then you would have a well-versed understanding of a study plan, that exactly where it should be starting from and where it should end from. And post having the study plan, you will be navigated to the question bank, and then mocks and simulations. The PMP mocks and PMP examination simulator that you have is a clear replica and of PMP examination, And this gives you a gist of how well versed you should be with your study and revision that you have with mocks and PMP simulations. With all the expertise that you gain in the training, with the expertise that trainer explains you in all the sessions, with mocks and simulations, the next go is our PMP examination, which is our final step to make sure that we are certified as project management professional. And then yes, you will be certified as PMP post successful completion of the exam. PMI recommends that you have 70% to clear the examination in the very first go. Do not be worried about it. There's a clear study plan that's created for us, and we at KnowledgeHut upGrad has the highest passing percentage when it comes to across all the learners from different geographies. And there is a curated study plan. Everything is in place. It's just that the right intent, the right aspiration, and the right platform. All right, can I have the next further schedule, please? Yeah, this is the advantage that I was discussing about. Uh, the information that we bring onto the table, the question banks, the examination simulators that we have, and the study plans that we bring onto the table is a clear, unique proposition that we bring on. And that makes our learners pretty much to clear the examination on their very first attempt. And alongside with that, once you complete the live training sessions with us, you will be also given the recorded versions of it. This will help you just in case to go back and revisit any topic that you would want to have a revision. This is a great win for you to have this revision done. And nevertheless, post completion of the training, we will never isolate any of the learners. You will have doubt clearing session and you will have application assistance. As you must be knowing by now, once you complete the PMP training with us, before you go ahead and give the examination, you will have to go through an audit process from PMI, which is just that you'll have to create your application. How do you create this application and what steps to follow is something that our trainers will help you in this process. So that is how you will be guided through. From the doubt clearing session, you can reach out to us. We are just an email away or we just a text away from you. And post that, once you complete the training with us, the application assistance is something that can be guided off with our expert trainers that we have.